There was this little girl who was doing very badly in school. Okay. Her mother was concerned. The teachers kept repeatedly telling the mother that she's got a learning disability. Okay. And she's falling back and she's always fidgeting in class. She is always swaying her body and she simply could not focus or concentrate. So this went on for a long time. And then the teachers met the mother and said, look here, you got to put her in a school that is meant for special kids. You know, I don't think she can cope with this curriculum. So the mother was a little devastated. And she took this little girl to meet a doctor. He looked at this little girl and she seemed fine. Yes, she was fidgeting a little bit. And then he told the mother, you know what, I'm going to do something. I'm going to switch on the radio here. Okay? This is the consulting room. I want you and I to walk out of the room. Let's keep the door ajar. I'm just switching on the radio. I've got a little bit of a hunch about this girl. And let's see what happens. So he switches on the radio, walks out of the door with the mother, and he tells the mother, let's not speak, let's just watch this girl. So the radio blares on, and this girl is fidgeting. She's on one leg, then she's on other leg, you know, and then she starts swaying her body. Rocking her, you know, whole body. And after 10 minutes, he tells the mother, let's walk into the consulting room. And they do. And he looks at the mother and says, I've got good news for you. Your girl does not have a learning disability. She's a dancer. Now, this little girl went on, you know, to be a ballerina dancer at the Royal Opera House. She went on to, you know, dance and choreograph productions for the Royal Shakespeare Company.
Wow.
And it doesn't stop there. She also became a choreographer for two of the longest running musicals in history. One was Cats, and the other one was Phantom of the Opera.
Oh.
Okay? And her name is Jillian Lynn. In fact, in 2018, for the first time ever in London, a theatre called the Old London Theatre, if I'm not mistaken, was renamed as the Jillian Lynn Theatre. The larger point I'm making here is this, you know, children are born creative. It's literally their birthright, it's in their DNA. Which is why if you go to a little, let's say primary school, not even primary school, play school, ask children out there, how many of you guys are creative? Every single person will raise his or her hands. Go to a primary school, 80-90% will raise their hands. Go to high school, probably 50-60%. Go to college, maybe 30%. Now go to an office. Go to, go to, I don't know, a government, department.
Yeah.
5-10% will raise hands. So what happened here? Firstly, our education strangulated creativity, innovation, individuality. Second, the culture, created all kinds of conditioning. The family, probably the parents said, why do you want to be an artist? Why don't you take up a real job, right? And make money. Now, our education is one of the biggest killers, because it's like a factory. It uses templates, to judge children. See, every single human being is unique. Nobody is alike. We're intrinsically unstandardizable, right? So when you try to standardize a human, you cannot raise standards. You actually do the opposite. There's this man called Dr. Howard Gardner from Harvard, a psychologist. He identified multiple intelligences, spatial intelligence, which is what architects deal with. You've got kinesthetic intelligence, which is about body and dance. You got verbal intelligence, which is what we guys are indulging in right now. So there's so many different kinds of intelligences, right? And we do not understand this. The education system does not plan for this, create teachers for this, or teach for this. That's why we end up creating clones. The fundamental reason why people believe they're not creative is because they get conditioned to believe that way.